Welcome, fellow gamers, to another episode of Embers of History. Okay, so this is episode number 4, and we got a few more World v. World clips to kind of go over. This is a little bit more World v. World proper. These clips were recorded during yesterday's reset, so August 8th, 2025. And yeah, no, it was last night's reset was pretty intense. There were some good fights, really competitive. And I mean, like, reset is naturally already competitive for World v. World, but man, last night, the gamers logged in. Okay, the gamers logged in, and they were firing on all cylinders. And this is just across the board. Our team, which I believe were red, the blues and the greens. Oh yeah. All right, and let's jump into our first clip. All right, we are starting hot and heavy with this first clip. So we are currently in Blues garrison on their borderland, and this has, just for context, this has been a fight that has been going kind of back and forth for quite some time. This is really the first time, actually no, correction, this is the second time that we were going up against this green group, and we're all fighting for this territory. Everybody did well, by the way. Everyone did fantastic. So we're gonna get into the mix. They are distracted with the Lord. Green team is distracted with the Lord, and they are dealing with the blue retaliation. And we've got a really good strat going into this opening here by stealth pushing. Mesmers lay down, I believe it's focus 4. They lay that down, and anybody that walks through it, they get stealthed. And there's actually multiple, there's 3 of them, to just try to keep all the stealth application up so that we can have the maximum amount of surprise possible. And so we're going in, and this is just a hot mess, and this is the kind of stuff that's just like, this is really exciting. Here we go. All right, we're going in. We're trying to pull them out. They're kind of bunkering now. Now you notice that Ring is already up here, so Lord is down, and at this moment we are trying to just basically contest the area. Now, I will say this much. I don't know what the numbers game was, but I'm pretty sure that green was running bigger numbers than we were. We've got a group of 30 that's indicated on the top left-hand side in that group area. And, I mean, these guys, they were a thick mob. So if I had to take a stab at it, I mean, they must at least been 40, 45, 50 strong. Like, this was a pretty big group. So we're about 20 players less than they are. So we're going in here. They very look at that movement. I just got to state the Greens movement here. They kept it real tight, and you notice how tight that they're keeping it in. I don't remember the range on that reflect bubble, but that is not a very big that's not a very big radius. The fact that they are able to basically put most, if not all of their members, and this is what I was going over in my previous videos, is that when you are staying tight like this particular bubble, okay, this is like, you're trying at this point to break a bunker, and that is extremely hard to do. You got to bring the DPS if you are going to break this bunker. And if you notice on how tight they are, and if you look at our group, now I do need to disclaimer once again. I missed the deadline for setting my World v World guild, so I'm not linked with my usual guild that I run. So I'm kind of like I'm thrown into just whatever guild that's there for me. And so I don't really know how these guys, I'm just trying to figure it all out. I don't know what their strats are. Most of the strats are pretty similar, but certain guilds they run their strats differently than others. So again, it's trying to figure out what's going on. If you can hear that, that's my cat in the background. Hello, kitty. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry, before we move on, I did want to note that if you look at how tight the green is, green's positioning is fantastic right here. Our positioning, we're not as tight. We're not as a tight little bubble as they are right now. Look at this. Now, I will say that our movement, in this instance right here, this is perfect movement. We're slowly backing away as a group. No one's running out. Tag isn't just bolting to the back of the room, because if Tag bolts to the back of the room, that's going to create a tail, and that's just going to be easy pickings. And it also doesn't help that in this particular engagement, I was still running my roamer build, that's a mistake on my part. That's, shame on me for running basically a trash build. Well, sort of a trash build, but roamer build, you're spec'd out differently. I believe I'm running celestial gear, which is not the most dependable in a Zerg group. I mean, you can make it work, but I mean, you really kind of want to like spec into, DPS support. If you're gonna do CCs, boon applications, stuff like that. If you're gonna do that, spec into that instead of just trying to be like a celestial build. It just doesn't work. Not as well as you might think. You start to, if you try to go with like a celestial build, and even if you build your group that is, I'm gonna call it like the mirage of celestial. Like, if you try to build your group to try to cover like every scenario, that's like celestial build mentality, and that's not going to work in every situation, because in most cases, if you don't have someone that is specifically spec'd out for DPS, you are not going to hit those DPS numbers, and you will get destroyed. Doesn't matter. You could have all celestial builds. Okay, it does not matter. You will get wiped because you will not be able to bring the DPS. By the way, this is so totally a side note. I did get a new mic. So if y'all can just let me know about the sound quality. The sound quality sounds good. Awesome. Lovely. I love it. I like it so far. So we're going to try and work with it. I don't know what... My other mic just is dying on me. Anyhows. Let's go. So we're pulling back nice and slow here, and we're applying some good pressure. There's a nice good ebb and flow. Now we are getting pushed back here. We are getting shoved out. Now, okay, note my positioning. This positioning is bad. This is terrible. I am well outside. See these rings? These rings here? I'm well outside of that. Okay, I should not be where that's at. I should be up where tag's at, which it was really confusing because there were 2 tags. I don't really know what they were doing, which just made things even more confusing. I think, if I remember right, I was with the purple tag. It just kind of made it confusing because I would see purple tag and then I would see blue and then I would forget which tag I was on because my mentality is find tag, get onto tag. So right now my positioning, totally bad. This is not great positioning. And we've already lost a couple dudes in there. Now, normally in this particular kind of strategy, it would be in the Blues' best interest, which is what they're doing here, actually, because this is their garrison. It is in the Blues' best interest to pinch the green, because they don't want to necessarily want to take the fight and bring it onto us, because that's kind of disadvantageous onto their part. Because if they try to fight us and then green can immediately just turn back and fight them. I mean, you want to target, the group that's in the middle. So right now there are just high level plays going on, despite some of the bad plays that you're also seeing. But there's some high level strats that are happening right now. And right now green is sandwiched in between red and blue. Red being us. But look at how well and tightly knitted green is. Okay, these are people who know what they're doing. These are players who know what they're doing here. And if you look at how tightly knitted green is, and you can see the blues, how they're kind of a little bit, they're not as tightly knitted. And even if you look at us, now, this time, I'm actually right there on tag. But look at where the other tag's at. And look at all these people. Look at how spread out we are. See, I'm not the only one that should be shamed here. Our positioning is terrible. We do not have spawn advantage. We do not have, this particular garrison. For us to play like this isn't going to work for us. It's just not going to work. Green, they know that they don't have spawn advantage. They know that they're at a disadvantage here. So look at how well that they're playing right here. Just look at this. Okay, we're going to keep going forward. They are keeping it nice and tight. Now I'm still trying to add some pressure here, and then they come in and look at how quickly they rush in, and then they bundle up in the corner. They move into a position and they stop. Everyone bundles up and then they do their spike damage. So that's our bubble. Oh, and there goes theirs. Yeah, and then they're slowly moving forward. And if you notice, we got a few downs here. And dude, look, I'm in the middle of this, okay? I'm cooked. I'm cooked here. And so is that person and that person and that person and that person and that person cooked. Because I didn't keep up with tag. Right there's tag. So because I stayed behind, I didn't move with the group, and because I didn't move with the group, I got taken out as a result, as did so did all those other people, and we basically just got pushed off of there. We probably lost I don't know, 10 players right there, and that's enough to snowball a total loss. So this was a huge W for Green in terms of just damage output, in terms of positioning, in terms of bunkering. They literally spot on. Now, yes, absolutely, we got steamrolled there. Positioning, build composition, and especially staying in that tight bubble are huge factors when it comes to Zerg engagements and Zerg groups. And I don't know what kind of comms they had going on there, but they were on top of their game. Green did a fantastic job everywhere across the board. As far as us, it's really confusing to follow 2 tags. And I don't know if it started out as, because sometimes what'll happen is you'll have 1 tag, and then you'll have another tag that's specifically set aside for like a roaming group, like a small roaming group kind of thing. And I don't know if that's how that started out that night. I just know that there were the other tag. I don't know. They had a pretty sizable group, so it was really confusing to try and maintain which tag to prioritize and which tag to follow. And, you know, as a result of kind of that confusion, you know, if everybody's not on the same page, then it doesn't work, you know. 2 tags, it's very confusing. It is ideal to just, you know, have one of the, if you're gonna merge like that, you know, take down one of your tags. Now, I think later in the night that they fixed that, where there was only 1 tag, or the other guy, he just left and logged out for the night. I'm not really sure. But if you're gonna run in a coordinated effort like that, having 2 tags is very, it's disorienting, and it can create confusion, because then you can displace yourself very easily. And really, that's all I really have to say about that clip. Other than Green did a fantastic job. And now, let's go ahead and move over to clip number 2. Okay, so in this clip, it might look a little familiar, but this is a separate thing. And now you'll notice that I am actually on my Tempest build this time, running Tempest staff. So I'm a little bit better equipped for group fights here. So we've got a similar situation still going on here. Okay, so we got the ring up, so Lord's down, Blue doing everything that they can to stall. And here we are, tightly knitted. This is still an event where we still have 2 tags. You can see the purple tag here, and you see the blue tag here. So we still got that kind of confusion thing going on right now. And let's get into this, shall we? Okay, so Green start going in, start pushing us here. That's when they do their initial spike damage. Now this time we kind of aggressively pulled back, just to get out of that initial spike bubble. Now, I want you to take note of something. Green, what they did, this is high level play here. Okay, you have to understand something. Green they demonstrated self-control. Now, what I mean by that is they laid down their initial spike damage here. We pulled out of that. They could have very easily just continued to chase us, but they understand that as they go into chase us, that they're going to be walking into damage that we're leaving behind. So what do? They stop. They stopped. They kind of regroup, because not only this is a good situational awareness on the Green Commander's part, because he's not only factoring in our group, because we already had to shove off here. but he's also juggling the blue group that's trying to pick at his backline at the same time. So this is just this is just very well coordinated plays here. I'm not saying that they didn't make any mistakes, but what I am saying is that they are making some excellent gameplay decisions, and the situational awareness is like at an all-time high right now, and that is definitely to their advantage. So they stopped there to kind of regroup and not go full-blown bloodlust mode. Okay, they're demonstrating a sense of self-control here, which is huge. So they'll wait a little bit, and then they'll re-push again. So I'm a little out of position here, but I kind of get back up. And so now this was a bad move. This was a very bad move on tag, for our tag, or tags. I don't really know, whichever one, blue and purple. I'm assuming they're, cohorts. But they immediately tried to push in. Green didn't have to do anything. Green didn't have to get chase. Green, we walked into Green's DPS fields. You know what I'm saying? Because we tried to cut. There's not a lot of room here. Okay, so they tried to cut on the right-hand side of the green group to try to get to their back line. Dodge through the initial damage. So there's not a lot of room for us to wiggle here. And we tried they tried to go through and try to get to their back line. Look, they were already paying attention to the back line because blues were already back here. So they were already aware, and the only thing that we did was that we made it easier for them to not only focus us, but then also focus blue, because we have this wall to the right of us, and there's not a whole lot to do. And this is a perfect position for green to just wipe the floor with us reds. Look at that. We already got a few downs here. So they got a few downs on their end too. So I mean, we're pumping out the DPS, but we don't have enough to capitalize on all that, because these downs, they're still in the mob. The downs are still in the mob. So at this point, it was either, for me, it was either attempt to jump past all of them, or perhaps maybe apply some pressure in the back. Now, admittedly, I'm not going to do a whole lot, especially if they're bunkered like this. Now, you could say that something is better than nothing. However, this is not the most advantageous position, and it's like watching a train wreck, and there's nothing you can do about it. So they're going here, they're popping off the skills. We got a few kills there, but it's not enough to do anything. Now, our team somehow manages to pull it together here, and they actually apply enough pressure onto the greens. But the greens, they ain't backing up. They are not backing up out of this. And they immediately put down another spike bubble down. Whenever that, I believe that's Spellbreaker's elite skill. Whenever that bubble goes down, that's where they dump all their spike damage, and that's where all the wells, that's where everything happens, up in that radius. And if you are anywhere in that radius, it is almost guaranteed death unless you have really good supports. I almost got pulled there on the left side. Look at this, and they're slowly now the juggling here is fabulous. You would think that with blues being in the back here, greens up here, and us reds here, greens are at the most, they're at a disadvantage because they're sandwiched between two large groups here. Seeing how this group is pushing back our group, because we can't do anything other than just slowly move back and hope that we're chipping away at them. Blues desperately trying to get in on all this, and at this point, that green arrow, when that green arrow was dropped, that was an order to retreat. I recognize that. So yeah, by recognizing that kind of retreat order, that's what's up here. And so at this point right now, I'm overloading air just to kind of leave a damage radius. Just, you know, something is better than nothing. And we have to pull out of that. And if I'm not mistaken here, you see all these +3s to the blues here. Green, it is safe to say that green pretty much got demolished here. So despite their best efforts in bunkering, we did enough and they did enough in combination. It took two groups to basically coordinate and effectively try to take out the green mob. Which is that's a lot. It's almost like just wow. It's actually very impressive, you know. So yeah, green kind of lost out here because you can see that they're getting cleaned up here. These little tick marks here. I can see green got one. Got some reds. Look at those numbers. So yeah, at this point, I think most of this clip is over. Because we don't make a push here. Because we already lost quite a few numbers here, and we're just trying to catch some you know, just some stragglers here. I'm kind of overstaying my welcome. Pretty confident. And that'll be the end there. So we fully pull out there. So yeah, did green get pushed out there at the end? Yes. But I need to reiterate that green was fighting two groups. And they actually held together very well. And if it wasn't for the repositioning of both of our commanders, because that's just what I'm going to say, both our commanders, because we had two tags, which, again, I need to reiterate, is not a good idea. Because they fixed their positioning, that gave an opening for us and for the blue team to basically sandwich the green team. And for the green team to have lasted as long as they did is very impressive. Big props to them. Big props to green team. They did a fantastic job. So, that's these two clips. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. And if you were a part of that, you know, you recognize your name. I don't know if anybody actually like looks at each of the names, but if you were a part of that, yo, shout out to you. Whether you were on the red, green, or blue. I just want to say, you know, keep the gaming coming, keep good gaming, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Until next time, say hi to your neighbor, be kind to one another, and remember that Christ is our only hope for salvation. I will catch you all next time. Peace.